Hi, this is Chris with CCG Sales. Thanks for coming back. We got another tutorial for you. This is an easy little one to take a photo and create it into a faux pencil drawing or faux line drawing. It's real easy. I'm assuming if you watch my other videos, you're at least somewhat familiar with Photoshop. If I go through it a little slow, just go back and stop it, replay it, whatever. So what we're going to do is let's open up a picture here. Okay, now first off, just to let you know, the line drawings tend to work better on lighter pictures, especially ones with white backgrounds. This is a royalty-free photo I found on the internet. It just happens to have light colors and a light background, so that works even better. But if you can take it and you can erase the background, make it white, whatever, that would be up to you. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to work on a copy of the layer, so I don't want to work on the original. So I'm just dragging down to copy layer. Let's make the original invisible. Okay, so there we go. We've got our background layer. Now first what I'm going to have to do is desaturate that layer. So I'm going to do an image, adjust, desaturate. That makes it into levels of gray, black and white if you will. Okay, so then I'm going to make a copy of that layer. Okay, so now I have two black and white or two grayscale layers. Okay, now the top layer, the one that we're seeing, I'm going to set the layer to color dodge. Okay, even though it's in black and white, color dodge does a few tricks with it. You can already see it washes out a little bit. But what we're going to do, part of the effect is I'm going to have to invert this layer. So I'm going to do image, adjust, invert. Okay, that makes it all white. Okay, now what we're going to do to try to bring the liney effect, the main colors and the main outlines of it to start the line drawing is we will just do a simple Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. There we go. Now it starts to come through. You can see that this is actually what it looks like up here in the upper right. See, it's actually a black, and it's blurring it, and it's letting the line show through. You don't want it too blurry, because that just makes it come through too much. You don't want it too little blurry, because then you can do it that way if you want to cut it short and just do it the simple way. But I don't know, at least for this size of picture, this is going to vary. This is a pretty big picture I've got, so we'll do it about 8, 9, somewhere between 8 and 10. Okay, so we're seeing that. Alrighty, so now we can see what we've got. It's sort of the outlines of the picture. Still looks like a photo, but it's we're getting the shapes, the darks and the lights, which is where the lines are going to come from. Ultimately, there's a little trick at the end that's going to make it look even more like a drawing on a piece of paper. Okay, so now we're going to take these two layers, and I'm going to merge visible. Okay, so now I have one layer that's just the black and white with just the basic sort of outlines. Okay, now I'm going to copy that layer again. Okay, now I'm still working on the top layer. I'm going to do a filter, blur, smart blur. Okay, this is going to look totally wacky to you, and you're like, man, what is this? This isn't exactly what I need, but you'll see what we're doing. I'm just wanting to bring out the edges more, and well, you'll see at the end. Okay, so we're bringing out the edges more. Now you don't want to do this too much, see, with the radius, because it brings out way too much and we don't need all that stuff. And you also don't want to do it too little, because then it's just defeating the purpose and it's not really doing what we need. So, a little goes a long way, not too much. Adjust the I leave the threshold and the radius about the same on this particular picture. Again, this is going to vary depending on how complicated your picture is, okay? Alrighty, and also important, I've got quality high and mode edge only. Okay, now if you do it a different way, like low or medium, it just changes it all around. So I like high and edge only. Of course, edge only is going to, see, it just does something completely different. So you want to do edge only. Okay. Click OK. Alrighty. Now this looks like total crap. So we're going to see what this does. So I'm going to take this top layer and I'm going to do an image, adjust, invert. Okay, now wow, that looks way too bold. It's adding some more of the dark lines that we're going to need for the final effect. But all we're going to do is just, we still want to have some of the black lines, but we're not going to blur them out or anything. I'm just going to reduce the opacity on the layer, if you see here, and go down. And all I want to do is keep some of the just little sharpness edges. It looks almost like a watercolor, but you'll see at the end what it does. Okay, and I'd use this just not very much at all, just a small amount. I've reduced the opacity to about 10%. Now if you can see here, let me zoom into something so we can get a good idea of what it's doing. Okay, so there's without and there's with. Now see, it made all these little squigglies and stuff. Looks kind of like pencil drawings, but you'll see what it does here in a minute. So I'm zooming into a specific area so we can see the effects more. There we go. Okay. Now again, I'm going to merge visible. So now I've got the black and white with a little bit more bolder lines, a little more squigglies and stuff in there. Okay. Now here's the part that really adds the pencil drawing effect. It's really cool. You want to go to Filter, Artistic, Rough Pastels. Okay, now rough pastels is, I'm assuming the effect it's using a texture to make it look like you're drawing with charcoal on a rough piece of paper that has a texture, and that's what really adds the pencil effect to it. Okay, now you can see here that, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see here. So see, it's giving that rough edge to it, so it looks like it's been drawn with a pencil over a piece of paper. Now here's the thing that's really going to affect it, what I've done. Okay, rough pastels. Stroke length, don't want to make it too long, don't want to make it too short. I keep it, right in the under the 15 range or so, at least. Like I said, that's going to vary depending on the size of your picture. Stroke detail, you can do a lot or a little. If you do a lot, see, it makes it way too dark. It looks kind of crappy. So keep them both sort of low, just enough so that you get the hint, the feeling of that pastel-y, or the drawing on paper look. Okay, we can even do that down a little more. Okay, scaling, you don't want to do it too big. You want to keep it small, because obviously this is supposed to be on a piece of paper. Scaling small. Here's the important part. Texture. I'm using canvas. Obviously don't want to use brick. Don't want to use sandstone, though sandstone doesn't look too bad. Burlap is a little too rough with the scale. I like canvas. Okay, canvas. See, now if you do the scaling up too much, see, it's way too big. So do the scaling pretty low. The relief is just going to make the effect stand out more. And it also makes the lines drawn, it makes them look longer, it shows them, so you don't want to do that too much either, so I keep that down a little bit. Okay, and the light, it doesn't really matter, you can do bottom. I go bottom left just for the heck of it. Okay, and then click OK, and there you go. That is it. That's the pencil drawing. Now can you see that? See how it looks like a pencil drawing? It's got the sort of the rough smudginess of paper, and it's got a little bit of like grain to it. Okay, and then we can look in on this big old baby face. Big pencil baby face. Okay, there you go. It was just that easy. So whoa, we zoomed it in way too far. Okay, so there you go. So if you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. Leave your comments if there's any tutorials you want me to do for you, and we'll try to figure it out. If there's something you're stuck on and you can't figure it out, just leave me a comment and I'll see if I can make a tutorial on it. Once again, this is Chris with CCG Sales. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again real soon.